All right, so I took this into a bike shop. I won't say where, but um, I had a young man work on it to mount this tire onto this rim. This is a while ago. It's a Kenda. By the way, it's doing really good. I got 3,000 plus miles on it so far, and it's really outlasting what I got on the stock tire that came with the bike. Now, but you see, he mounted this tire uh, and I'm not a tire guy, so I didn't know what to look for. But I took it to another shop, and right away they says, "Hey, your tire's mounted backwards." I was like, "Really?" So they explained to me that so like on this tire you have these grooves. Okay, it's supposed to. I think they're usually there for tracking the water if you're riding in the rain. But the rear tire, these should be pointing in a V shape to the front tire, and they're not. They're pointing. They're coming down in a V shape, uh, facing the rear of the bike. So it's gonna throw the water. Basically, it's gonna throw the water under the bike instead of away from the bike. And he said also with having a blowout, it could potentially the way the tire is designed, if it's mounted backwards, it could maybe um, really mess you up when it blows. I don't know. I'm not a tire expert. That's what I was told. So, and this is at a dealership. So these guys know a lot more than the smaller place I took it to before. But, and then like on the tire direction, there is a directional arrow on the sidewall. And this is showing an arrow pointing this way when it should be um, mounted the other way on the rim. And then the arrow will be on the other side pointing towards the front of the tire. And then, of course, if you did that, then this tread, these little tracking for the water, these grooves would be pointing in a V towards the front of the bike. And so, like, let me show you here. So you see how it looks, right? With that coming down in a V, pointing to the rear of the bike, away from you. Okay, that's backwards. Now, so if you look at the front, it's correct because this is the stock. I still have the stock tire on the front. Okay, and you can see how they're tracking, right? They're tracking and pointing in a V towards the rear tire. And so the rear tire should be opposite, like I was showing you, pointing towards the front. So anyway, I'm going to take it in the dealership and have them remount that tire. The tire's still good. I still got a lot of life left in it. They're only going to charge me $30, so that's cool. And one more thing. Um, so I had someone else look at this bike, and they were showing me that, you see this groove? And I thought I had it in there, but I guess I missed it when I mounted this tire on or put it back on a while ago. But this is like for the caliper. This is the, I don't know what you call it, but it's like, it secures the caliper to the bike. So here's my caliper, okay, and it's gonna go on these two bolts here and mount to that plate. That's what holds this caliper in place. Well, it was moving. You could move it. You could physically move this thing back and forth because I didn't have, when I slid this tire back onto the swing arm right here. Well, on the swing arm, there's like a grooved knot. There's like a notch, like a rectangle shaped notch, which is part of the frame of the bike. It's part of the swing arm. Okay, you have to slide this caliper mount with that square notch groove into that Otherwise, it's gonna move back and forth. It's very dangerous. I'm thank God that I didn't have no issues with it. I don't I don't know how I didn't, but so yeah. So when you're remounting the tire after you get your tire replaced, and you're doing it yourself, make sure that you pay attention to when you're sliding the tire back on, that goes inside of that notch there. So, just thought I'd share that with you guys. Like I said, I'm not a tire guy, but yeah, this tire is mounted backwards, and it can only go one way when you mount it on the rim, because you got the sprocket. You know, you're not going to remove the sprocket. You're going to leave the sprocket on when you take your rim and tire in. So it can only mount it one way, and so the guy mounted the new tire on backwards. Okay, so this tire should be the other way. Anyway, I mean, honestly, I couldn't tell. I didn't have any issues when I was riding it. After I put it on, but you know, like this guy from the dealership was saying, it could cause an issue in the rain, because it's going to throw the water underneath you instead of away from you, which could cause you to probably hydroplane, I would imagine. Yeah, lose traction. That's very dangerous. And he said also, the way these tires are designed, when they blow, they're designed in such a way where if they're mounted backwards, it could cause another issue there too. It could be cause a dangerous a wreck. Because then I guess maybe it would blow maybe parts of the rubber under you instead of away from you. I don't know. Anyway. All right, so here's that another visual here, but you have that like this, okay, for your rear calipers, your brakes, and there's that. See that square notch? It's going to go over that little rectangle square deal that's welded to the frame, or I'm sorry, the swing arm, and then that way, you know, it's not going to move that much. It shouldn't move that much. See, when you have it on there, it's not going to move that much. Otherwise, if you don't do that, you're going to have this thing can move quite a bit back and forth. I'm probably just lucky that it's the rear brakes, which there's not a lot of force applied on the bike, versus like the front brakes. That would have been devastating. But the front brakes are a little different. I don't think it doesn't have this, but anyway. Yeah, so you should put it in there. That's the way it's designed. You don't want this thing flopping around too much.